So this is one pick wonders with Bear the Cat. We're giving you one pick every time we do a show. Look, he agrees. So last week we're coming off a win. Who did we win with last week? I forgot already. I think it was New England, wasn't it?
Who?
New England, right?
Yeah, New England. Yeah, they were a 7-point favorite, I think, or something, and they blew out the Dolphins by 17 or 18.
And so this week they're a 14-point favorite. And we won't be picking them, but what was your takeaway from the game last week with New England?
New England's New England, and Miami's Miami. I mean, Miami is always does something stupid, and they did, and they lost because they're just what they do. I don't understand. Ever since Don Shula left, they've just been an incompetent team, and Bill Belichick is smarter than everybody else. So they crushed them. I mean, it was not close. Tom Brady had a field day against them, throwing for 300+ yards and 4 touchdowns.
What was the genius analysis? Well, but wait a minute, wasn't New England we picked in Mexico? I don't think that was last week.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
But who was that we picked in Mexico? Because
New England versus Oakland.
So you're telling me we picked New England 2 weeks in a row?
No. Who was it? You picked somebody. I wanted to pick Tennessee, but then you picked somebody else last week.
All right,
I forget who it was.
I'll tell you who we picked last week. All right, hang on, because I think we're a week behind, actually.
Because whoever you picked, they won. They covered and won.
Well, yeah, we've been covering and winning.
Yeah, it was a good pick.
Into our profile page. By the way, folks, this is at One Pick Wonders on the Twitter. This is how you win every week. So actually, our pick last week was the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, they barely squeaked it out. That was a 5, I think, and they won by 7.
Well, it was like a 5 to 5.5.
Yeah, they didn't play very well.
Yeah, that was a touch and go.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets kind of blew it at the end.
How'd they blow it at the end? I forget.
Just bad clock management, stupid plays. I remember what it was. They had Carolina on a 3rd down late in the game, and Carolina was going to punt, but then the defensive lineman for the Jets got a roughing the passer penalty against him. So obviously it's 15 yards, automatic 1st down, and then that was it. He cost the team the game.
Oh yeah, it was a mental mistake by the Jets defense.
Yeah, he just hit Newton after the play was over, and they got that was it. I would have cut the guy after the game, but I don't think they did that.
So anyway, I don't know if you can see this, but stay thirsty, my friends.
Going international this week.
Yes. I once ran a marathon because it was on the way. Stay thirsty, my friends. So what's the Buru doing? He said he was a game for the show earlier, but now he's in absentio per usual.
I don't know. Well, you know what happened last week?
He was hungover from Thanksgiving, yeah.
Well, that's not the official story that he put out.
Oh, really? He was having sex in a back alley with a tranny?
No, even though that'd been more interesting too. He said that he left his charger at Sean's house, and he didn't have a way of charging his phone, so his phone was dead all of last weekend.
I'm sticking with the tranny story.
No, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Under a bridge somewhere.
All he could say is, I didn't know you had balls. I thought you were a woman. I should have looked at your Adam's apple.
You know, there's a bridge right next to the train station he gets off at. You know, there's Ferry Ave.
With all kinds of rubbers, used rubbers on the ground, and needles.
Yeah, there's a store right there. So, you know, they get their stuff at the store and go right to the under the bridge there and do their thing.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm sure Brian's slept there a few nights.
He might be sleeping there now. Who knows?
I know, that's what I'm saying. He was game for the show earlier. And now, all of a sudden, it's a Saturday night, and he's in absentia. So you tell me what's going on here.
I don't know. I wish I knew. I mean, I'll just go with your story. He met some tranny on the internet, and now they're hooking up somewhere.
He says, make sure you tell my family I thought you were a chick. If anybody questions this.
Is that before or after they did it?
That's if he gets found out. But, you know, I mean, in this day and age, it doesn't even matter. So we have to be very politically correct and support them. You know,
this show's all about political correctness.
Mm-hmm. If he gets gay married, dang, we're gonna have to go. You know, just to show our support.
That's true. Well, I'll go to the wedding.
That's right. We'll go to the wedding. I won't dance with the bride, but I'll go to the wedding. I mean, I gotta have my limits. I gotta have my limits somehow.
Who would be the bride? The tranny or Brian?
I don't know. In dog terms, I don't know if he's a pointer or a setter. I'm not sure.
Setter.
Yeah, most likely. He could be at a furry convention or something, for all we know. Was there a furry convention in town in Philly this week?
No, but he wouldn't do that because he wouldn't spend the money on the outfit or the train ticket to go in.
He couldn't rationalize spending money on the outfit.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't spend $10 on a charger for his phone, so why would he spend money on that?
No, he could take a CVS bag and cut some eye holes in it. You know, put it on his head.
I don't think that really works.
And then he'd show up at Comic-Con.
He missed that. That was back in the summer. We had Comic-Con here.
Wow. He's strange. Well, maybe he finally succumbed to the toxic waste dump in his apartment, and he's dying a slow death, you know, laying in toxic fumes in his apartment.
Maybe, or maybe he finally ate one too many pizzas. I don't know.
Yeah, he ate some bad pizza. Some bad 30-day-old pizza that he found under the bed.
Yeah, he just cuts the green off.
That's still good.
That's right.
We used to do that in the deli back in the days. Take the mold off the cheese. It's still good.
He did that once. He had some old Chinese food, and he just scraped the green part away and ate the rest of it.
Wow. He should be on one of these Mars experiments where they put him in a bubble and let him try to survive for 6 months. You know, he could eat anything.
Yeah, well, him and his rotten tooth, they could eat anything.
Oh my God. He is my brother, though. Don't you have a brother that you love to mock? I mean, you're one only child, though.
No, I have a sister.
Oh, do you mock her ruthlessly like we do Brian?
Not really. I'm nice to her.
All right, call her up. Let's get her on.
No.
Let's roast her ass.
Nah, she has enough problems. She doesn't need that.
She doesn't want to come into the Shark Tank?
No, I don't think so. I mean, she has diabetes. She gets allergic to everything. She doesn't need any ridicule.
All right. Well, we'll put on the kid gloves. It's unicorns and marshmallows. That's what the show is all about.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just like Big Pick 4 was all about that too.
Indeed. So we're looking at a pick, our first Monday night pick. This is historic. We've never done a Monday night. We know Monday nights are a wild card up on Monday nights. So our sports picking expert, Danny, has chosen the Steelers to cover 4.5 over Cincinnati, in Cincinnati. What is that? Like Howard Cosell used to say, and I'm sorry, I know it's Paul Brown Stadium now and it's not Riverfront, but Paul Brown, not Paul Brown used to say, Howard Cosell used to say back in the day, hello everybody and welcome again to Riverfront Stadium in downtown Cincinnati on the banks of the Ohio River. Let me back up. I didn't do that right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Riverfront Stadium on the banks of the Ohio River in downtown Cincinnati, the best kept secret in the Midwest. All right, so you're not going to have Howard Cosell for the game. That's kind of the setup he would give back in the day. And we would have to swap Riverfront for Paul Brown, but the Steelers are coming into the Bengals' hometown on a Monday night. It used to be a big game back with Cosell back in the days, and so why are we picking this game?
Well, unfortunately, Cosell's not going to be there. Because he died 30 years ago. The Ben Roethlisberger doesn't lose in Ohio. He has some incredible winning record in Ohio. He's like 20-3 or something in the state of Ohio. I mean, part of that's just playing the Browns. But it's a small spread. Cincinnati's been inconsistent at best this season. They only have one good player in their offense. That's A.J. Green. Everyone else stinks. I don't know. And by the way, you should never let us pick Monday night games. When we did Big Pick 4, we had to do Sunday only back in those days. But I just think the Steelers, they're a better team. It's a small spread. Roethlisberger doesn't lose in Ohio. They should have Juju Smith-Schuster back, I believe. So, I think we should go with Pittsburgh.
And what about Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown? They're both healthy. They're going to contribute.
Yeah, and I think Steelers were embarrassed a little bit last week when they were terrible against the Packers. They won the game, but the defense stunk. So I think the defense is going to be mad and want to have a better showing on national television this week.
So no Andy Dalton factor. He's not gonna show up.
No, he didn't show up last time. When they played in Pittsburgh early in the season. The Bengals were awful. Dalton kept turning the ball over. Pittsburgh ran the ball the whole second half. Just ran the clock out basically. It was over.
What about Joe Mixon, A.J. Green? Any comments on their performance projected?
I don't know. I guess Green will be okay. Mixon's kind of up and down. Dalton's been up and down. That's why they're 5-6. The Bengals have been totally inconsistent. They've two of their wins are against the Browns, who stink, and one against the Broncos, who stink. That means they are 3-6 against everybody else. Or I'm sorry, 2-6 against everybody else.
So Bengals are still knocking on playoffs door? Is that where we're at here?
I think everyone in the AFC can make the playoffs at this point, except for the Browns. Everyone's still mathematically eligible.
Yeah, I saw that post about how the Browns could still make the playoffs. It wouldn't even happen. Include the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, right. All the teams have to crash and die in plane crashes, and then the Browns actually have to win a game. And then if that happens, and then Roger Goodell comes out and says it's really a woman, and then the Martians come down, then they'd make the playoffs.
But where's Pittsburgh at in the playoff race? I didn't look it up.
They're the 2 seed.
Oh, so they're head of their division, a 2 seed right now.
Yeah, they're 9-2. Them in New England. The biggest game of the year is going to be Pittsburgh versus New England, Week 15. Pretty much going to decide who's going to be the number 1 seed in the conference.
Well, the 1 and 2 seeds are a bye, right?
Yeah, but you want to be that number 1 seed because you'd go through. That means either Pittsburgh or New England have to go through that opposite team city. So New England wins. That means Pittsburgh has to go through New England, where they never win, to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh needs to beat Cincinnati to get in that in that scenario.
Yeah, but they're going to beat Cincinnati because Cincinnati stinks.
But you said they already met once this season, and what happened?
Pittsburgh beat the shit out of them.
Wow. But Cincinnati's got a playoff scenario. What's their record right now?
5-6.
There's a lot of 5 and 6 teams that are still have wild card hopes.
True, but this is probably going to end it. When they lose on Monday, they'll have 7 losses. That might be it for them.
So then they're looking at draft picks for next season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, good. Well, we gotta make a good showing on our first Monday night pick, and maybe the show will evolve into the Monday night football picking show. You know, because we failed at everything else we've done.
Hey, we're doing good this year.
Oh, we're doing good. One pick wonders. We're at what the hell are we at? We're at
9-3.
9-3 on the season, folks. That's 75%. Show me any NFL analyst that is above 75%. Doesn't exist. That's because we are your experts at One Pick Wonders. This is a free service we provide every week, and just trying to help you make money and not bet on the stupid stock market. What you do is you bet on football. That's how you win. That's how you make money. You're just risking money. You want to take an educated risk. You're just risking money to win. That's why you bet on One Pick Wonders.
You know, there was a interesting story in the news today. The state of New Jersey is trying to pass sports gambling, and they took the case to the Supreme.
It's going to the Supreme Court. Yeah.
Going to the Supreme Court, and they say if the Supreme Court allows it, a bunch of other states are going to start passing sports gambling laws. So we might start expanding.
Well, listen, you know, Vegas was grandfathered in, you know, before the Wire Act came in, you know, back in the early 70s. Vegas was grandfathered in, and since then, you've never been able to have sports betting in any other states. And I thank Governor Christie and I believe it's a Delaware faction. The Delaware governor, there's Christie and somebody else. I think it's Delaware that's supporting this. But, you know, it's bullshit. Why should Nevada have a monopoly on sports gambling? You know, it's total bullshit. It's only because they were grandfathered in under the law. You know, it was like it was, I forget the name of the law, but it was like the Interstate Wire Transmission Act, or, you know, some bullshit. It's basically like you can't transmit bets over state lines. But this was back when we had cord phones, you know, and it wasn't, the internet didn't exist when this law came into place, but Vegas got grandfathered in under it, and then Congress passed another law. I wish I had my facts straight, but then Congress passed another law. It had to do with like professional sports gambling or something like that. But the bottom line is the only state where you can bet on a single event for sports is Vegas. That's it. and now Delaware and New Jersey are pushing it back all the way up to the Supreme Court. And their biggest opponents are NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. These are their biggest opponents that are lobbying against any passage of sports betting in another state. And even if you have some limited sports betting in another state, it's a parlay. In other words, you have to make it a game of chance. So professionals like us come in and we bet on a single event, and we guarantee, we don't guarantee, we guarantee you're going to win a high percentage of the time, right? So in states where you even have some type of limited sports betting, it's a parlay. So you have to bet 3 games and you have to win all 3. I don't care whatever sport it is, you have to win 3 games. That's to make it a, quote, game of chance, like the regressive tax on the poor, which is scratch off lotteries and all this other bullshit that the state makes money on, right? So they don't want professional bettors, because professional bettors never going to take a 3-way parlay on sports. That's stupid. That's a sucker's bet. They want to push you to Wall Street, which is also a sucker's bet, but they don't want to allow you to bet on a single event sporting. Well, that's redundant. Single event sporting event, but single event for sports. That's what they don't want to allow. That's what you can only do in Vegas now. But I am supporting, you should be able to bet on sports. You can bet on Wall Street, and all they do is take your money and rip you off blind and live high on the hog. But you can't bet on sports. At least I can watch the game. I can't go into Wall Street and watch them cook the books and sit in their board meetings. But I can, if I bet on sports, I can legitimately go watch the game. So cheers to Governor Christie. I hope he wins in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, we'll see. They've had some problems in Europe with sports betting because of match fixing.
They've had some problems in Europe because their sports suck. Okay. Anything below like the Premier League or the Bundesliga or the Liga A in Italy for soccer is fixed. And then when you bet on soccer, it's a 3-way bet, which is a sucker's bet to begin with. I have to bet on win, loss, or draw. I can't even bet on win or loss. And then cricket, I'm going to bet on cricket? You fucking kidding me? Any sport that an old man can play, I'm not going to bet on.
So you're not betting on golf or tennis?
You know what? Golf is, if you want to bet on golf or NASCAR, that's for fun. Okay, that's not serious. They're like one and the same. Who's going to win the race? Now, tennis, I can agree on betting on tennis. So you only have to corrupt one player to win. But it's been proven, and there's been a report done recently about how tennis is corrupt below the top levels. Once you get down to like the 1, 2, 3 in the world, and you get down to like 4, 5 to 10, it's been corrupt. It's been proven. Because the bettors know they only have to buy off one player to win a game. Just like in the anything below the top league in soccer, they only have to basically buy off the goalie and maybe one player, and they can win the game. Well, and the guy that wrote the report, and I can't quote who that was, but the guy that wrote the report about tennis, he said he's proven that top 10 tennis players have thrown games. And he brought them into the report, and he said, if you don't cooperate with me, I will throw your name out there. And they all cooperated. And it's been proven that there's been corruption in top-level tennis, because they know people can still bet on, players that are pretty highly ranked that are not in like the top 5. And they've thrown matches because, a Russian guy shows up at your hotel with a briefcase full of $100,000, and they've thrown matches. And they admitted it because the guy told him, he says, look, you're going to cooperate with my report or I'm going to throw your name out there because I've proven statistically that there's no way that you didn't lose match A, B, and C intentionally. He said, I've done it statistically, mathematically, up one side and down the other. And he says, if you don't cooperate with me, because right now he's saying to them, I will do this investigation and I'll say player X. And if you don't cooperate with me, I'll say your name. And they all cooperated. And they all said, yeah, we got paid off. Because he mathematically proved it that there's no fucking way that player A, B, and C could have lost match 1, 2, and 3. He proved it mathematically. And then when he confronted them, they all admitted it.
Yeah, there was a big scandal in Australia about that.
Mm-hmm.
Players throwing that.
It's just like the guy in online poker where he proved mathematically that there had to be a ghost player. He was winning a lot of money with online poker, and then he proved mathematically there had to be a ghost player. And there was this big lawsuit and scandal and so forth. And then so he said somehow some insider gave him the data, and they crunched all the data, mathematically. And then what they realized is there had to be a ghost player. And by ghost player, I mean a player that could see every other person's cards. Because if you couldn't see every other person's cards, there's no way that you would have made those plays on those hands. And then guess what? The online poker company said, yeah, you're right. There was a ghost in the machine, and for these particular set of matches, and yeah, there was a player that could see every other player's cards and what you were doing. Same thing with corrupt tennis players. But when you look at gambling in the U.S., and I've gone on my rants about baseball, but it doesn't matter because even if I have a Dominican or a Costa Rican throw a game as a reliever in pitching, which they do on a fairly regular basis, I can still win. I only need to win like a game a week. So I don't really care. And I'd like to take it outside of Vegas to other states. But not that I wouldn't like to live in Vegas, but I think it's bullshit that Vegas has a monopoly on that.
Yeah, I agree.
And in conclusion, North Korea must be destroyed.
Well, hopefully you can take care of that too.
Did you see where this argument was leading? It was all leading up to that.
Dos Equis, 2 X's.
Fuck that little rocket man. Don't get me, motherfucker. Rocket man!
He watches the show.
That's right. Can Brian dress up for next week's show? I think we could dress him up as Kim Jong-un.
Oh, that'd be great.
Pull that off. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
You have to get him a uniform, and we have to dye his hair black. He would be a perfect Kim Jong-un.
That's right. Get a Dr. Evil uniform for him. A costume.
We'd have to pull this off for next week. Brian, you cannot pick winning teams for sports, but you make a great Kim Jong-un. Yeah. Or you can even be the brother that got maced, or that got mustard gassed in the airport.
They killed him.
Yeah, we could put little glasses on Brian, and he could be the fucked up brother. With a little hat on. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Oh my god.
He has to shave his beard though. All right,
that's
so
fun.
I digress. But anyway, no, I got caught off guard by the gambling discussion, but I could quickly beef myself up on it, about the case going to the Supreme Court and so forth, and how Vegas got grandfathered in on the intrastate wire gaming law back in the day and so forth. But my main point is that if you could bet on sports, you're a hell of a lot better off than betting on Wall Street, because all they're doing is gambling there. It's not like back in the old day with the Wonderful Life movie where it's like, hey, I got $50. You give it to him, and help him out today, and then he'll give you back so much money tomorrow. All they're doing is gambling now. They're not doing the Wonderful Life scenario. They're not doing that anymore, where it's like we're just trying to help each other get ahead. They're just fucking gambling. That's all they're doing. So if you want to gamble so you can win. I am the most interesting man in the world.
That's for sure.
That's an understatement. All right, so Danny, Steelers are going to win. Well, they can't just win. They got to cover the spread, 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're betting on the Steelers. At One Pick Wonders on the Twitter. This is YouTube, but then you just click the link. So on 3, go Steelers. 1, 2, 3.
Go Steelers.
Danny, hopefully Buru will come back on the show at some point this year. I'm not sure when. Yeah. Hell with him if he doesn't. He's not even welcome back on the show until he comes back on as Kim Jong-un.
Okay, I'll let him know that.
He's got to go to a thrift store or something and come up with one of these commie outfits. With the fucked up shoulder boards and everything. with the shoulder boards that are just cardboard.
Yeah. His dictator outfit.
5,000 medals, even though there hasn't been a war since 1950.
That's right. These guys having a whole chest full of medals.
There hasn't been a war since 1950. They weren't even born in 1950, but yet they have like a chest full of fucking medals.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
If you have that many medals on your chest, you better have been born in like 1900. Because no U.S. general has, that many medals on his chest. It's like the Korea hasn't done anything since the armistice, which was like 1950, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
So where are they getting all these medals from?
I don't know.
All right. Next week, sir.
All right. See you then.
All right. See you then.
All right. Bye.